And we've hit the century mark. Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to PCM21 Career Mode. And yes, it is episode number 100. And we are on the National Championships, the road races now. This is Japan, and we have just 2 teams represented out of these 7 riders. We have 3 of them. The opposition has 4. Both teams have a fairly legitimate shot in this one. And we've got to make sure Sato looking pretty dang good, and definitely the sprinter Sakaguchi I think is the one who is looking a little bit weaker on the day. So we're going to send Sakaguchi into the break, and either to go win this thing solo or to take one rider along with him and then force the other team to do the chasing.
The current pace is a bit too docile for some riders who are looking to create a breakaway.
Okay, so Tsutsumi is the one that's with us. Oh, there's a lot of similarities between those two, wasn't there? Alright, well, gaps at 1.5 minutes. And meanwhile, Sato is the one who's keeping this thing in check. And you know what? I don't want that to be the case. We're going to set up, force the other team to do the work. Climbing-wise, you know, it is just a little bit of an advantage for Sakaguchi. Yeah, and I have a feeling that those two could really break away and kind of make this thing happen. Maeda is the favorite when it comes to climbing. And if it comes down to it, this climb we're going to hit 4 times in a row there near the end. And Maeda is going to have every advantage to make something happen with that one. Gap out to 5 minutes. That's a huge gap. Makes you think we're already down to just 2 riders. Sakaguchi. I'm just going to sit right on the heels of Tsutsumi. Make Tsutsumi do the work. Nothing to lose by doing that, because the gap is growing very quickly. 6.5 minutes already. Next climb, I think I want to send Maeda. Maeda's the favorite of the climbers. So leave Sato with this group and just try to see what happens. At 7.5 minutes, it's not going to hurt us to try and ride solo with Maeda. If it succeeds, we're guaranteed top 3, 2 riders in the top 3. If it doesn't succeed, you sit right back up. This group, you can see, is literally just inching along right now. Out to 8.5 minutes. Approaching the climb. Approaching 9 minutes. Maeda attacking. So far going clear. They're not interested. Okay, climb at your pace. The best climber here has opened 1.5 minutes over the 4. Sato obviously is just going to sit on. I mean, this is 3 of them and 1 of me. That's ideal scenario, because if we can catch up, you'd make us favorites, right? 7-minute gap to cover though, and Maeda has a long range. But we opened a 2.5 minute gap in that very short period of time and cut it down to 7 minutes as we go over the top. Go ahead and set Maeda to relay. Let that heart rate come down. Keep that heart rate steady and keep an eye on, well, the gap. If it's coming down even at all, then you give us a chance, and it's definitely coming down. Back off even more. 6 minutes and shrinking. And 6.5 minutes to the chasing 4. Sato being sacrificed here, but 0 reason to give chase, even though Sato has the best race day condition of the bunch. Gap now at 4.5 minutes. Maeda making pretty quick work of this. through that climb. Gained a lot of time. 3.5 minutes. Front group in sight. Then get water here as well. 19-minute gap. It's over for them. And we've got 2 of 3. I'm going to wait for Maeda to recover. Satsumi still wants to ride. That's funny. Let's let Satsumi ride for a while. As long as the gap's going out, there's no reason to worry about much of anything until we get later on. So for now, let's just sit on the wheel of Satsumi, who's interested in doing the work. Definitely a quality sprinter and good on the downhill. But it's the climbing where they're weaker. And their flat's not great, so they're not going to do too much to us on the flat, but we're simpler. We have the power of 2. Speed things up for a little while. I'm happy with things as they are.
A symbolic kilometer as we go through the halfway stage of the race.
To me, deciding to attack us means it's time for me okay, they are no longer interested. Let's start with Sakaguchi again. Reason being, Maeda's the better climber.
Another attack in the leading group.
It's a beautifully done stage, by the way. Alright, let's let them go.
The front group is disorganized, and some riders are exploiting this opportunity to attack.
And then just keep them under pressure. No, they're not going hard enough, though. That's the thing about that. I'd love to see them continue to attack and get away. But for us, catching them is so easy. Now, the later climbs will go a little more desperate. For now, this is more about just kind of putting a herding into Satsumi, who's not willing to do the work on the climbs, realizing that Maeda's the stronger one.
This is the last third of the race. The team leaders have their minds fixed on today's goal.
And the moment we set up on the descent, Satsumi's interested, so it's just the climb where they're not. But the real sequence of climbs is coming up here in a little bit. Let's go ahead and get water one final time. Go ahead. Attack right now.
There's an attack in the leading group. Some
Attack right
riders
now.
were
Ride
not giving
solo.
it their all and sharing the pace. It's in such percentages that the strongest can create some gaps.
Let's see what happens if we give a small amount of effort with Maeda. Are they going to follow?
There's an attack in the group at the front.
They're going to respond to the attack. Maeda's going to come through and continue on. If you can, Sakaguchi follow. Not quite. I don't know how they're stronger while they're just following. They're not quite using as much energy. The 1-2 part. Love the idea of them trying to go solo though. But they have to keep riding for that to actually work. And they're not. So they're so easy to catch, but they're not burning any energy. Now, we've expended some energy. If we're lucky, Satsumi will not have recovered. And as Tsutsumi rides here, they won't recover quite as much as we will, and we go right back into the climb. So hopefully this 1-2 punch to hit them a few times is going to be enough to do something. Sakaguchi, time to attack.
Aha! He's trying to give his pals the slip.
Alright, let's
This
just
climb
climb
is
at our
feared
pace
by
with
many
Maeda.
riders. The percentages are very high.
Okay, now Sakaguchi's set up. Meanwhile, Maeda's going to come back. And we'll see what happens with Tsutsumi, who's now continuing to ride on. And now Maeda's going to burst right on past and keep the pressure on.
There's an attack in the group at
And
the
now
front.
Sakaguchi has to climb at their pace. Okay, and now we sit up. Force them to do the riding. Okay,
There's a
and now we
breakaway in the
ride
leading group.
together. Hopefully they keep riding this time and burn themselves out. No, they don't. They sit up at the moment they attack. But I want them to stay away. I want them to stay a few seconds ahead of us through this next lap. And so far they have. And they're definitely riding harder. You can see we're not getting recovery right now. And we just are beginning to. Meanwhile, there's no way that they are. Maeda is the one getting a little recovery in. Now Sakaguchi just gets a little bit, which means they're not going to be seeing the recovery that we're seeing. So when we go to hit them again, as the groups are close to each other in the same spot, they're just now coming into the area. We've finished 2 laps.
The riders are going through a very tough portion with percentages above 10%.
Alright, Maeda's going to take over, bring it forward. And I want Sakaguchi to do the immediate attack. Maeda back off. Maeda, I know, can catch very fast.
Whoa, there's an attack from inside the breakaway group.
And hopefully Maeda can go
The
clear.
pack seems resigned to leaving the victory to the escapees.
That's going to be it for Sakaguchi,
attack
though.
in the
So
leading group.
Sakaguchi, at this point, looking like 3rd place. Have we set Maeda up to do something? I have no idea how Tsutsumi continues to have the kind of energy they have. Sakaguchi, not that far behind. Maeda. Tsutsumi has done more attacks than we have. Tsutsumi does not have the energy, is not the quality of rider. There's no way that Tsutsumi should have this amount of energy left. We should be able to easily leave Tsutsumi behind here on this one. Going clear. Not getting the attack that we needed. Tsutsumi able to, but us not. How could that be? I'm dumbfounded by how strong Tsutsumi is at the moment. Are they on
10 kilometers to the
plus
finish line.
5? They're a 64 mountain, 65 hill, and they are totally outclassing Maeda right now. Now they're tired. Now they're tired. Come on. Even like this, you should be able to leave them behind. Finally they're tired, but they're gonna outsprint us. Look at that! How do they have any energy?
Again, an attack is
How?
launched. The group has to
Oh
break
my
apart.
goodness. We found God on a bike. There's a huge gulf between them in terms of climbing quality, and somehow
We're into the
Sakaguchi,
last 5 kilometers.
who is very similar, couldn't break Tsutsumi, and then Maeda, who is significantly stronger. I mean, Sakaguchi's 2.5 minutes down. 1K, 1.5 Ks to go. They are the better sprinter. Have they gone to, look how much faster they are. Look how much faster they are, and able to go the distance.
Alone against
Wow.
all. It required a lot of energy, and he
Terrible
showed
luck
he was
on that.
above the
Terrible
rest
luck.
today.
That should not have failed. That should not have failed, but it failed miserably. I'm not worried about Sato. I'll see you for the next race. And we're on to Latvia. This one being mostly flat favors Kalnins. Kalnins, +1 on the race day condition, has a real shot at this one. We're going to sit on and make the others do the work because Igashin forming the one-man solo break, 49 seconds ahead. We'll see if they allow Igashin to get enough of a lead to stay out there, but that'll set it up for Kalnins to relax, make the others do all the work. Kalnins can just about beat everybody in a sprint, and we'll see if that's going to be the case, if that's going to be allowed. If we're caught, Igashin can serve as a good lead out, making it that much easier for Kalnins. For now, it's a 1 minute advantage. I cannot go this tempo for long though. Let's hope we can open it to about 2 minutes, that they'll allow that, and then we can sit up a bit. For now, they're chasing pretty hard. Without Berlikov, we don't have enough of a 1-2 punch to be able to distance these riders.
Awful today. I pity the riders.
Okay, so because I have 2 riders, nobody else is interested in working. Igashin had expended too much energy, so I had to sit up. That allowed them to come back. I need Igashin to recover. So Kalnins is going to put the work in for a little while. We'll allow Igashin get back to full strength as long as nobody else is attacking. Once that's happened, then I'll go ahead and take over with Igashin and kind of do the same thing for a while. If they're all content to let this get down to a sprint, if Igashin has something in the tank and Kalnins is at full strength at that point, well, there's your easy solution. You get a lead out from Igashin and Kalnins sprints. Not quite how I wanted this one to go, but something that should work out just fine. The moment I get water, we see an attack from some riders. Let's go ahead and switch these guys up now. Just about fully recovered. And we have one rider that's gone clear, and we have others now willing to chase. So Igashin doesn't need to put in much effort. Kalnins can sit up. This is actually good for us. Team effort. We can essentially burn out one of their guys, and this can still get us to the result we were looking for. Kalnins fresh, others not so fresh. And based on our experience, we already know that for Igashin, that did burn a lot of energy to ride in the 70s, which is where these guys are. We're on the low end of that, but we're definitely not putting in as much tempo when we're on the front. Gaps opened up a little bit when we were out front. And Kalnins nearly got dropped, so Kalnins at a 72 is keeping up, but kind of only just. See that gap holding at about a minute 15, and yes, Nealins totally exhausted. So when we do eventually get back up to Nealins will probably get left behind, and that'll be one rider eliminated. Then we'll be looking at 2 versus 3 instead of 2 versus 6. Oh, sorry, 2 versus 4. 2 out of 6. That's what I meant. And it is already starting to come down. 50 seconds now. He's hit that exhaustion point. We'll see if he actually does what we did and try to recover a little bit. 18 seconds now. 102k to go. Go and get some water. And we see the next attack.
It's a good time to take some food.
And Nealon's followed for just a split second there. Nice if Nealon's can't hang on to this thing, but at the moment they are. Their recovery's got to be fairly minimal at least. We saw that it took 60k for Igashin to recover sitting on. Shoulders definitely aren't bobbing anymore. And we're just 17 seconds behind. But you can see Igashin, unlike Kalnin's, has, even at full, has expended a bit. See, the others have. So they're all going to have that little bit less in the tank, while Kalnin's is full strength. This could still really play out in our favor. That's going to be 2 riders, fairly well tired, and 2 riders that have at least done a bit of work, and then Kalnin's totally fresh. Nealon's trying to attack again.
The team leaders have their minds fixed on today's goal.
That's funny. He's going to be right down there, quite low. Yeah, he didn't stay ahead for long, even without much of a chase. Igashin now takes over, though, with 6 here. He's the only one doing the work. Not a big fan of that one. And I back off just that tiny bit, and that was enough to open the doorway. Scoins now attacking for a second time. So again, Nealon's and Scoins, multiple attacks. They're not going to have anything. But the other 2, Lipin's, Orlikov, they've worked, but not hard. Kalnin's, meanwhile, very fresh. Those 2, less so, but they're still going to be pretty fresh. 30k to go. Pace has picked up a bit. Picked up quite a bit. Slow it down a little bit here. 26k to go. Berlikov, Lipin's, this time working a lot harder. A lot harder. Berlikov now attacking.
He broke from the pack like a greyhound.
And that's 2 that are away. And now they're attacking each other, so this is good.
Their front group is disorganized, and some riders are exploiting this opportunity to attack.
Back together, though. 40-second advantage. And we've caught him. Right back to nobody wants to work.
There are just
15k to go.
left.
Let's get Kalnin's up on the wheel of Igashin. Nobody else is contributing anyway. We're going to start to speed it up. Final 10k.
There's now just 10 kilometers left.
Last little uphill section.
While the pack is getting close to the finish line, everybody seems to agree that the stage will be
Gel
won
for
in a
Igashin.
sprint.
7k to go. And now Kalnin's. Slow down.
5
5k.
kilometers to the finish line.
Gel kicks in for Igashin with 4k to go. Putting his foot down. Kalnin's is in the prime spot. 3k to go. 99 effort. 2.3. 2.0. Igashin giving the lead out. And now Kalnin's with 1.4k to go. Off onto the sprint. And he's going to have a pretty easy time here getting first place.
He really had to fight for that
One success
A
here.
great sprint
Comfortable.
finish.
Very
The riders
comfortable.
bringing up
Lipin's
the rear
ahead of
have made it
Berlikov.
through sheer will
Igishin comes in last, doing the hard work, but set his team up well. You know, I was a little disappointed with how things were going initially. That first race really felt like that should have been ours. We do get this one, though, and that feels good. Certainly we were the favorites, but it's always hard when you only have 2 riders. Everybody else looks at, oh, you have 2 riders. You should do all the work. And when it came down to it, when it was a pack of 6, they certainly agreed with that. When it wasn't a pack of 6, we could get others to do the work, and that was good. That was good. We played that one right. Worked out. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Tour de France on the way. Bye for now.